After 2 years of continuous price growth, I think a lot of us have forgotten what to do when the market is actually trending in the opposite direction. So today we want to talk about what not to do in a downtrending market. There are a ton of things that I think people need to take into consideration, both buyers and sellers. So let's jump into number one.
Number one, first and foremost, don't panic. It is natural for markets to have ebbs and flows. And the market that we were in, we know it was unsustainable. So the market that we're moving towards is actually a much more balanced and healthy market. Also important to remember, if you're not planning to purchase or sell in the near future, this downturn in the market doesn't really affect you as much as you might think. And if you are planning a purchase or sale, it's also important to remember that everything is relative. So, okay, you might not be getting as much for the sale of your property, but you're also going to be purchasing for less.
Number two, now is not the market to be flipping properties. And obviously, that comes with a little bit of a caveat because ultimately it's going to depend what you buy the property for. But we saw a lot of people who were purchasing properties, putting minimal money into them, and flipping them in a couple months just because the market was appreciating so much. If you are a flip investor, if that is what you specialize in, then you need to be extra diligent with your purchase because now in the market trending down, especially at the rate that we've been seeing the decreases here in the Durham region, we just want to make sure that you're not risking putting all this money into this flip and not being able to get it back out due to market circumstances at that time. I think now being a little bit more volatile makes it much riskier for you. So I'm really favorable for buy and hold investors in this market, but for flippers, I don't know if I would be as excited.
Especially considering the costs of material and labor and the supply chain issues that we're experiencing right now.
Absolutely. It's an all-encompassing thing. And right now, I think until the market stabilizes and finds its price floor, that's not one method of investing that I would want to be involved in.
Number three, not marketing your home properly. And we cannot stress this enough. This is not the market that you want to cut corners when you're preparing your home to list on the market. You want to make sure that you've done all of the handyman things that need to be done around the house, that the property is very clean, that it's staged, that it's marketed properly online and in print. This isn't the time to step over a dollar to save a dime. You really need to stand out amongst the competition because it's not as simple as just putting a sign on your lawn and sitting back and waiting for a bidding war to ensue. You really, really need to stand out.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things for sellers to understand is as we start to extend the average days on market, you're going to be competing with more and more homes. So that first impression and the way you show against the competition is going to be very important. So don't cut corners when you're prepping your home for sale. Make sure you're checking all the boxes to ensure that you have a successful sale in a downturning market. Number four is making sure you are not overpriced. And this is maybe one of the most important because of how much money you stand to lose. One of the most important things in a downturning market is staying up to date with where prices are and arguably even getting a little bit ahead of them. One of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing with a lot of homes that are extending their time on market is they are chasing after the market as it trends down. People were looking at prices in February or in March, and when they were listing in April, they were still thinking they were going to get those prices. And unfortunately, that's just not the reality. And speaking from personal experience, we've had multiple buyers offer on multiple properties, and even though they've ended up in multiple offers, they don't want to compete anymore because they know there's other homes that are available. Buyers are seeing that the market is trending down, and for them, they understand that there is no rush to get in. So they are absolutely willing to wait for the next one to come up. Now, obviously, we're not saying give your home away for pennies on the dollar, but it's finding that threshold, understanding the market, understanding the numbers. And when a good offer comes in, more often than not, I think it's a great idea to take it because if you're waiting another couple of weeks before you sell, I don't know if you're going to see that price again.
Okay, lastly, number five, we want to talk about selling before you purchase. And this is a bit of a change of tune. For the past couple years, we've been saying, it makes a lot more sense to buy before you sell because there was such a lack of inventory and such a high demand. But now that the tables have turned and the market is trending downwards, it makes a lot more sense to sell before you purchase. This gives you the opportunity to actually know your numbers, what you're going to get for your house, and what you can actually afford to purchase. And in a downtrending market, those dollars actually go further the longer that you wait. So it does make a little more sense these days to either sell before you purchase or make sure that your property is ready to list the second you purchase, because you definitely want to make sure that you are selling and buying in the same market. So that wraps up the top 5 things we think sellers and buyers should not do in a downturning market. We really hope that you found this helpful. And if you had any questions about it, feel free to reach out to us anytime.
Absolutely. We love having conversations about the real estate market. So if you feel like we missed anything, make sure you let us know down below. And also, if you like this type of content, if you want more of it, like the video, subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate you guys, and we're trying to build an amazing community here on YouTube. So the more support we can have, the better. Thanks so much, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.